Bonny Files, research time, journalist.
Hello, friends of Devilry, and thanks for joining another episode of The Bonny Files, presented by Progressive Devilry, where we get to read the past articles and media about Christian nationalism in North Central Washington, and mainly in Chelan County, the heart of Washington State, authored by Dominic Bonny himself, the intrepid reporter. Any opinions or commentary I give about the articles are that of Progressive Devilry and no one else. So, let's begin. Grace City Church, the Vector Academy, and the Struggle for Power in Wenatchee, Washington, August 29th, 2021, by Dominic Bonny. For more than a year now, I have been keeping an eye on Grace City Church in Wenatchee. The organization first caught my attention more than 6 years ago when I learned that Grace City's predecessor, Grace Covenant Church, was an offshoot of Mars Hill in Seattle. Mark Driscoll, the former pastor of that now defunct church, resigned in disgrace after a fraud scandal involving church funds being used to buy copies of his book, Real Faith, and make it a bestseller. I found out that Grace City Church's founding pastor and church planter, Josh McPherson, had been a member of the Acts 29 network and had strong ties to Driscoll and Mars Hill. McPherson and Driscoll still have strong ties, apparently, because according to ChristianityToday.com, in the latest tax filings for Mark Driscoll Ministries, also called Real Faith, Taylor is also listed as a trustee alongside Brandon Thomas, who pastors Keystone Church in Keller, Texas, and Josh McPherson, who leads Grace City Church in Wenatchee, Washington. McPherson is a former Acts 29 board member. But it wasn't until the COVID-19 pandemic that Grace City Church and McPherson started to pop up on my radar more and more. I heard from multiple sources that during the COVID shutdowns in early 2020, that Grace City was flouting the guidelines and meeting in person anyway. I heard that the church had been seeking members in positions of power, specifically members of law enforcement and elected officials. But the information I was hearing was all hearsay at that point. So I started asking around, gathering string and compiling every link and document I could get my hands on if it had anything to do with Grace City and their relationship with the Wenatchee community. It didn't take long before people started to approach me in person and online saying they heard I was working a story about Grace City and they wanted me to know about this or that. Some of them even had documents or screenshots that helped me fill in some blanks. I even went out to the Sunny Slope neighborhood of Wenatchee and spoke with a few of Grace City Church's neighbors, many of whom are not thrilled with the organization for a number of reasons. But it wasn't until the church started marketing an unaccredited academy called the Vector Academy, set to start in September 2021, that I had something I could really bite into and start reporting on. After taking one look at the PDF for the Vector Academy on their website, I had a feeling that it would be taken down very soon. I was right. They took it down quickly, but I had already downloaded a copy of my own in my files before they removed the PDF. You can still view the marketing video for the Academy on their website here. I even went names of faculty members. I could start looking into who these men were. And it didn't take long to find some disturbing patterns of behavior. Men like Doug Wilson from Moscow, Idaho, and Art Azurdia from Portland, Oregon, for instance, have shown disturbing trends of behavior that include pastoral abuse and defending American slavery by claiming it was a, quote, life of plenty of simple pleasures of food, clothes, and good medical care. I created this slide deck to keep track of the beats as I began to outline the story. Go ahead and you can download this. It'll be available on the website or on this link to the Medium page. Once I had that put together, I sent it to a journalism professor of mine from college, and he said he thought I had something here. He gave me some names and contacts for editors he knew who might be interested in the story, and I planned to reach out to them. But before I could do that, a source came forward to provide a PDF that was distributed in October of 2020 for elders and members of the church to, as the author puts it, to help see COVID more clearly. It was a big part of the puzzle that I was still missing. It outlined the game plan on how they were going to commit, quote, civil disobedience, as they put it, and flaunt COVID guidelines. Grace City Church, Wenatchee, Washington, 9 critical lenses to help see COVID more clearly. The elders' position on regathering in light of COVID-19 by Josh McPherson, lead pastor, by Kyle Strong, CPA, pastor of finance. From page 14, which is the beginning of the chapter titled Theological Lens, the state has no God-given authority over any church matter. This is clearly taught in Scripture and was the primary motivation of our nation's founders in penning our Constitution. God is over all things, including both church and the state. My decision to go public with what I have so far might jeopardize my, quote, scoop and allow for other journalists to swoop in and report this story themselves. But in light of what happened at the Wenatchee School Board meeting on August 24th, 2021, I feel that it is the public's best interest to know what I know. In a Facebook group called Common Sense, Anna W. says, I'm forwarding this text from Pastor Carrie McPherson at GCC asking the bodies to show up tomorrow. Hey, Wenatchee School Board is having one last meeting Tuesday at 6 p.m. at Orchard Middle School. They will finalize decisions on CRT, comprehensive sex ed, and other experimental theories on our children. We're trying to get 1,000 people to show up. You can sign up on the WSB website to comment or show up 15 minutes before to sign up to comment. Apparently, you're supposed to sign up on their website to even show up, but that's no fun. I'm freaking gone all week, or else I'd be there in riot gear. As you can see, according to this woman, Grace City Church was involved in staging the protest that ended up shutting down the school board meeting and forcing board members to leave the building and resume it online. Pastor Carrie McPherson, who the woman refers to in her post, preached this sermon at Grace City Church the Sunday before the events that transpired at the Wenatchee School Board meeting on Wednesday evening. Permission to protest, bringing your frustrations to God in the age of the outrage. If you'd like to watch the full video from that meeting I attended and recorded the in-person portion myself before it was shut down by an angry anti-mask protester, here's that. It'll be available on Vimeo. I do not stand to make any money by releasing this information. Like I said, I might even lose the scoop by releasing what I have, but all my instincts as a journalist and a citizen tell me that the public needs to know about this behavior. Folks should be able to connect the dots for themselves, especially before November when our community is set to choose to either retain or select new school board members. The last thing I would like to say is that I am not anti-religious or anti-Christian. I grew up in a very religious household, and to this day, I have many friends and family members who are devout Christians. I respect and admire many people of faith, both in this community and across the globe. I traveled the country for a year, serving as a youth minister after high school, and even considered the seminary myself as a young man. I have no axe to grind with religion or Christianity. On the contrary, it seems like a deeply hypocritical version of the teachings of Christ to use his words and legacy to manipulate others and amass wealth and power while doing so. My hope is that rather than dividing the community, this information will help benevolent Christian congregations in the Wenatchee Valley realize who and what is in their midst and perhaps do something about it. Organizations like this and Mars Hill tend to cast a bad light on all Christians to outsiders looking in. I will continue gathering string on this story, and this week we'll be meeting with a local pastor who wants to go on the record about what he thinks about a church, helping organize protesters to harass publicly elected officials. And maybe going public at this stage can help me find the missing pieces I would like to include in this story, like a copy of Grace City Church's more recent document titled 9 Protests Against Vaccine Mandates and Government Outreach, or the oath document new members have to sign to become a member. I'd also like to speak to anyone who has left the organization and wants to go on the record about that. If you'd like to get in touch with me about those topics or anything else regarding this story, you can send me a direct message on Twitter. And if you'd like to see all the sources I have compiled so far, you can check them here.
Hit that subscribe button to stay updated with us. And any sources we've used in today's episode are below or are available on our website at progressivedevilry.com.